Hey, John. I've talked to Jordan a couple of times, Mike Portnoy a few times, but never yourself. So great to talk to you, eh?
Oh, good. Nice to talk to you.
Yep. Now, speaking of Mike P, I've just finished watching his take on Taylor Swift's "Shake
I
It Off."
I know. I was watching that yesterday. I was cracking up. It's awesome.
I think it's the best one they've ever done, actually. I watch
Yeah.
all of those. So it's been a time of change and upheaval for you guys, but they say, such times can lead to great creativity. Has it been that way with you guys, you think?
Yeah, it really has. It's having Mike rejoin. Um, it's weird to say. It's at the end of 2023, actually, when he rejoined.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just been great. We got into the studio earlier last year, and wrote, which I think is a really strong album. We had a lot of fun doing. I can't wait for it to come out in a couple of weeks. It seems so long ago that we've actually finished it.
Right.
um but not only that, but the 40th anniversary tour that we started in October last year has just been phenomenal. It's you know the fan reaction, the attendance, the venues,
Yep.
the tears in the audience, the whole thing has just been so cool. Yeah, so it's been very positive for all of us.
So I'll skip ahead. 40 years together, as you just mentioned, 4 decades in the one institution. How does that feel when someone says that to you?
It feel it's wild because a couple of things come to mind. One of them is, I think about like some of my favorite bands. There's not many that make it that long. And I even think about the R40, the Rush 40 tour, and
Yeah.
I'm like, how are we at that point already? And the other thing I think of is, that I'm playing in the same band with guys that I met when I was in middle school. John Mayung, we were like 12. Mike, we met at
Yes.
Periphery, we were 8. It's like, and we're still like in the same band with the same guys. So it's just like this family and this brotherhood. And we all feel really lucky to be in this position to have it. We don't take it for granted. That's for sure.
Yep.
Yeah.
Have you seen the Rush doco where Jack Black talks about a Rush and their bottle of rocket sauce?
Yeah. Yeah.
They just keep shaking it and it just
Right. Exactly.
coming out decade
Yeah.
after decade. I think we could put you guys in that same category. Hey, what do you think?
Oh my God. That's awesome.
So I've only heard the first two singles. What does the rest of the album hold in store for us?
Well, it's actually technically it's a concept album,
Yep,
which
right,
so it's I had this idea of calling it Parasomnia a few years ago, even before Mike had rejoined,
right.
uh, and having the subject matter be all about sleep disturbances and creepy
Yeah.
things that happen because we are called Dream Theater, so it's kind of the perfect title. But then when we started working on the record, actually Mike Portnoy was the one that said, "Hey, why don't we take it a step further and make it more conceptual?" So we started sort of making having reoccurring themes in the different songs and adding all this ear candy and connecting this music, having an overture. So what
Yep,
you could expect, I guess, to answer your question, is kind of more of like an experience, that a
yep,
Parasomnia experience in the form of a Dream Theater record.
yep. Fantastic. So some of your lyrics in the past have been sort of open to interpretation. Some spell things straight out, and I think
Yeah.
A Broken Man fits into the latter category. Who wrote the lyrics to that? And is it based on anyone in particular? Or is it just like a statement on the effect of war on the people who participate?
Yeah, well, James wrote the lyrics to that song, to A Broken Man. I mean, basically the guidelines for anybody taking on a lyric for this record is I wanted it, them to write about a parasomnia event or experience. In my case, I wrote about night terrors, sleep paralysis, things like that. In this case,
Yep.
James, he chose to write about how vets are affected by sleep deprivation, and
Yes.
how that kind of PTSD really messes with, psychologically with vets, ex-combat vets, and how that can affect their sleep patterns and their life and thing, and how frustrating that may be.
Yep.
So that's what he chose to write about, tying in the parasomnia topic.
Yep. Fantastic. So is that word just something that came to you one day, or?
My son mentioned it when we were having a conversation, and he said parasomnia. I was like, what did you say? And I was like, that's a cool word. I was like, my immediate thought was like, that would be a cool album title. And I just like kept it in the back of my head, for a few years. And as we started approaching this record, I presented it to the band. Hey, I have this idea. But again, it's like the perfect Dream Theater title,
Yep.
So
Bet your son is stoked that you've
yeah, I don't
gone
know
with his word.
I'm not sure if I ever admitted to him that I got that from him. So I have to tell him.
Definitely, definitely. Now, obvious question, but it has to be asked. Are you and when are you coming back to Australia?
Yeah, we definitely are. I don't know the when, Rod, but I do know the next several months of our
Yep.
trajectory. We have a North American tour, a couple of weeks. We have European festivals, so it won't be before this summer.
Yep.
I want to just don't quote me. I want to say possibly in the fall,
Yep.
but yeah, it's something we for sure are going to do. Yeah, definitely.
Yep. So, can you tell me it's going to be this year? Because
I
it's
think
only
so.
January.
I think that's I wish I had a more definitive answer. I kind of I would imagine so. That's what's being discussed, but
Yes.
I haven't seen anything definite.
Okay. No worries. Now, this may strike you as a little funny, maybe a bit ironic, but I've loved every solo you've ever recorded, right? But my
Thank you.
favorite, my favorite solo of yours is not on a Dream Theater song.
Okay.
In fact, it's not even on a song that of a band that you're a member of.
Okay.
I I love the band Periphery, and
Oh, right. Nice.
your solo in Erased is just it's just so if you know what I mean. It,
Cool.
it's in a similar way that Eddie's solo on Beat It was just so him, even though it's on a in a very different setting. So, do you have a favorite solo of yours, or a most challenging solo, and are they the same thing?
Well, first of all, thanks for saying that. And you do know the connection between me and Periphery,
Yes.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah. So
you're Jake's uncle. Is it?
I'm his uncle. Yeah. Yeah. So actually they were touring with us, and we
Yep.
recorded that in a hotel room on the tour one. And
Wow.
I'll correct you on one thing, because I made the same mistake, not being fully Harry Potter literate, but it's Erised.
Oh,
Yeah, it's
I'm not
desire.
Harry.
I said the same thing. No, it's Erised because it's desire.
Right. I've been saying that for well over 10
Yeah,
years.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah.
about my favorite Periphery song, and I've been saying it wrong
I,
for.
I know. I said the same thing. So I'm saving you there,
Thank
but
you. Thank you.
no problem. Um, that it's funny. I did. I was just talking last night to Sterling Ball, or Ernie Ball, Music Man.
Yeah, right.
He did a solo album where he had a bunch of guests on it. Me and Lukather and Steve Morris and
Yeah.
Steve Vai, and we actually did a Disney medley. I don't know if you ever heard it, but it's really cool.
No, I didn't. Is
Yeah,
that up online? So I'd love to hear
yeah,
that.
yeah. If you look up, I forget what he called the name of that album. Um, but it's a Disney medley, and it was a
Right.
really a lot to do. And he did a second one, and where we all did covers, and I can't wait for people to hear that. But sometimes some of my favorite things. I mean, I'm proud of what I've done in Dream Theater, but some of the projects are a little like different or something I wouldn't normally do or end up being the most fun.
Yep. Fantastic. Existential question for you. And I have an opinion on this, but I think you're the perfect man to ask it as well. So Black Sabbath first are the first heavy metal band. I think there's pretty solid consensus on that. You know, your Yeses and King Crimsons of the world are probably the first prog rock bands. Who do you think is the first? Who do you think was the first prog metal band? Who do you
Well,
think?
yeah, that is an interesting question because it's when we started that they didn't really use that term.
No.
You know what I mean? So, like for us, we were friends with the Fates Warning guys. So there was Fates, there was Watchtower out of Texas. You know, Queensryche, like their first few albums. So, some people will argue that it's Dream Theater. Uh,
Yeah.
maybe I'm not the one to say that, but uh, I will say that when we did start from the very first record, in the style that now, we continue to be, that term wasn't used. So I don't know. We'd have to find the history. Who tagged it prog metal?
uh, I have to give it to Queensryche. They formed in '82, which
Yeah,
predates you guys by a couple of
yeah.
years.
Oh, they definitely predate us. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and that, they first brought out the first album in, is it '83?
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Uh,
No, you're probably right. You're probably right. If not, and they were before Fates, right?
I think so, yeah. And
Too.
obviously in the '70s, like an album like 2112 was probably
Mhm.
considered heavy metal at that
Yeah.
time. But,
Yes.
in hindsight, I don't think you can
Right.
really call it metal. I don't know.
No, exactly. Right. Not metal as like post thrash era that we associate it with.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, fantastic. Any, I've got all I need. Any parting words for your many, many Aussie fans at this
yeah.
stage?
Well, we really enjoy coming there, and I feel like we don't get there often enough. So I I I actually really anticipate us returning to Australia and playing as many dates as we can. I think even the last time we played, we didn't play in all the cities that we normally
Yep,
do. So we're long overdue. So
yep.
just hang on tight, and we'll get there, and we'll bring this great show. We have a great show that we built for this tour
Yep.
uh, that I can't wait for everyone to see.
How do you choose a set list from 16 albums these days? I've got
Well,
to ask that before we go.
here's the great thing with having Mike Portnoy back in the band is
Yep.
that's the very first thing I asked him to retake over is doing the set list. He's really good at it, and I hated doing that when he was not.
I was
So,
going to say, I bet he jumped at that.
oh yeah, yeah, oh yeah, he loves it.
No worries, mate. Again, great to talk to you, and really hope to see you guys down here real soon.
Awesome, me too. Nice talking to you.